former champions FC Platinum are reported to have invited Malawi internationals Gomez Kani Chirwa, Nixon Nyasulu and Precious Speedy to undergo trials at the club as they aim to bolster their squad ahead of the resumption of the 2025 season. The Malawi trio are in the books of Nyasa Big Bullets and are reported to have been trying their luck with the Zishavane Bez side, and they have lost quite a number of players like Panashe Mutimbanyoka, who joined newcomer Scotland, Ransom Pavari, and Dono Teguru, who is unattached at the moment. ZTN's head of sport, Mr. Teach, gives us his opinion.
Scotland FC and Simba Bora, especially when you look at the last two seasons, have flexed the biggest muscles financially. But when you look at the trek of players, particularly from Malawi and where they're going, which is FC Platinum, I don't think it's about the money that we've seen in recent times. I think Zimbabwean football has been on the up and up. You have to remember, because of COVID-19 and that ban, it was difficult for players to move back. But I think it's quite impressive. You have to credit the work of a coach like Callisto Pasua, who really built his reputation in Malawi with Nyasa Big Bullets. And I think just his reputation alone would have enticed a lot of players to come through. In terms of stability, I think that's what FC Platinum will offer these players. When you look at Scotland, for example, who have been by far the biggest spenders so far. They've only got one foreign-based player on their books, Sydney Oricop from Namibia. He'd come in last season. You look at Simba Bora, I think they're also taking somebody who's already been plying their trade in Zimbabwe, in Emmanuel Paga. So yes, the financial muscle and the money that's moving in football could have been a motivator, but I think Zimbabwean football is moving up, and that is attracting players. And when you look at a team like FC Platinum, for example, I think they offer a stability that even the likes of Nyasa Big Bullets, who've been dominant in Malawi football, would not be able to potentially match.
Mr. Teacher also gave an overview of having financial muscle on the market.
If you look at the fact that I think Scotland FC have basically signed an entirely new squad, and not just an entirely new squad. I mean, you look at the top three players from the Soccer Star of the Year awards last season. That is the Soccer Star of the Year himself, Walter Msona, the first runner-up and Golden Boot winner, Leon Chikua, and Kamal Billiot was second runner-up and the fans' choice player of the year. They basically had their pick. They've got 6 players from last year's Soccer Stars calendar. They've rated players from Highlanders, they've rated players from the champions, and it is about the financial muscle. And I, for one, am happy to see that, because I've been a big advocate of our sporting stars, particularly in football, getting remunerated well. You look at Simba Bora, they might have lost 13 players during this window, but they're taking a different approach, opting to go for youth, particularly in terms of the signings that they've made, mostly players in their early 20s, obviously with the exception of senior players like Neva Tigere and Liberty Chokoroma, who you would think they would have signed with one eye on the CAF Champions League, where they will be making their debut as well. And then you look at their pre-season preparations, they're set to go to South Africa. I think you can tell that they're being intentional and deliberate, and it's only the teams that have money that we've heard from so far in the window. Everybody else, I think Dynamos trying to have trials, Highlanders reportedly waiting on leftovers from Scotland, FC Platinum looking further ashore. So definitely a case of the haves and have-nots.
Konapo, ipapo, ba ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294, the place to be.